So I'm going to give you a little bit of background as to where we're up to with AI and kind of a prelude as to what's behind the demonstration you'll see in a minute. But first, look, things really haven't changed for us in this era of AI. In many ways, we're still here to help you transform and to improve patient care and to transform your organisation to improve operations and the ways that we've always been helping you. We recognise that there's competition externally for you, for patients, for funding. It's hard to get clinicians, hard to get talent into your business, and challenging to retain them. I mean, we face issues with burnout and excessive administration. So in this era of AI, we believe that there are ways that we can support and assist you there as well. Of course, there's a lot of discussion around interoperability. Sometimes that's in the context of fire. In Australia, we talk about Sparked AU, which InterSystems is proud to be a founding member of. But really what we're trying to do here is get the data from where it is to where it can be most useful. And obviously with AI, we want that data to be AI ready and of high quality so that we get good inputs to support very good outputs. And just like in our organisation, we recognise in yours that there is a curiosity about AI. What can it do? How can it help us? And how can we get true value out of this very fast-moving sector? Okay, I'm going to give you a brief kind of history. And it says 2020 on the slide there, but artificial intelligence has been around for 50 plus years. Machine learning is something that really has gotten a lot of become ubiquitous, if you like. It's certainly in the cloud with the movement towards cloud. It's allowed a lot of organisations to do more with machine learning. It's brought down the cost. And this is really about predicting something. That could be no-shows, predicting readmissions, breast cancer risk in mammograms. It's very popular in radiology, the next best action. But things have moved on and have moved on very fast. And so many of you would remember only a couple of years ago that first interaction, or maybe the first time you heard about ChatGPT. And so these conversational chatbots kind of happened almost by accident. The making it ChatGPT available to the public and then realising it was something that people really wanted to interact with kind of happened very organically and very, very fast. But really what that's doing is summarising, writing, and maybe even informing or helping you make your own decisions around something. And what we're about to show you in the next section is what we think the sector, the capabilities where AI is really moving to. And that's this idea of agent-based or agentic AI. And so I'll give you a couple of examples. We'll go into some detail around how that works and the differences. But really, we think we're in this era now. And you might have seen that if you're using ChatGPT and other tools, this idea of agents and things like research agents that will go off and do a whole bunch of things for you. And 10 minutes later, they'll come back with a very long document that, if you're like me, you'll get ChatGPT to summarise into something shorter again. But the way Gen AI works today is basically you have your application and all your internal documents or the context inside of your application or in other places. We feed that to the large language model along with your question, your prompt, and we say, provide me a summary or summarise this patient's record for me. In the case of some of our customers, like the Department of Veterans Affairs in the US, the average patient record is some 7,000 pages. So you can see the value of taking something very, very large and getting an accurate summary of a very large document that would take a long time to go through. Now, what happens when we get to agentic AI? So in the first step, not a great deal changes. We still have a question that goes to the model. But what we're really doing is we're not sending all of that context at the same time. We're making available tools, and I'll get to that in a second, but tools that can then be accessed to provide the context that is needed. And that context is really about making decisions and taking action. So using that same example, let's say we have a 7,000-page record. Tool number one might be access to the patient context, the patient history. But it also might have the ability to do a search or to provide a subset of the record. And that's something that the AI will decide what it needs. So we pass our question and we say, here are all the tools available. And instead of saying, here's 7,000 pages, it says, I need to see the last 2 years of that patient record. Okay, so then what happens? The LLM comes back to us as the user, as the clinician, and says, I need permission to run this tool. So assuming that is approved, that happens, and then the information goes back and is routed to the LLM for its next step. Now again, using the same example of the 7,000 pages, in the first example, we sent the whole context. So we might already have authorization for the tool to have access to read-only data. And what might happen is, instead of coming back to us and saying, I need access to the last couple of years, it might be auto-approved to fetch that. And then you get this kind of agentic, repeatable process for things that are already approved, where the tool will go off, decide it needs to get certain pieces of information, retrieve that information from the tool, and then it comes back to you with, well, the next step is I'm preparing some orders. I understand I can see different type of orders to place, but I need your permission, your approval to go ahead and do that. So that's agentic AI and the world that we're moving to. You've done your homework now, you're all ready. So let's have the next session up on stage. Please help me welcome Dimitri and the team.
Hello, good morning, welcome everybody. I'm Dimitri Fane. I lead our global EHR business. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be here. Fortunately or unfortunately, you get to see me twice this morning, and they're two different sessions. So right now, what we're looking at is the future we imagine for the EHR in the world of agentic AI. So I don't think my lawyers are in the room today, which is probably good, but just for their sake, what I'm going to show you right now is not an offering to the market. This is a working live demo of an R&D prototype. It sort of gives you the vision of where we're working towards. A little bit later this morning, we'll see actual IntelliCare in action, the product that's available today. And I think you'll come away from seeing both of those with an idea of where we are today and where we're going in the future. So I'm just going to dive into this. If we could share my screen, please. I think the best way to talk about this is to take you through this live demo. I'll stop at various points and explain what you've seen. So we have my colleague Thea has arrived in the emergency department, unfortunately quite unwell and in respiratory distress. Fortunately for all of us, we've got a highly experienced doctor, Dr. Emeline Ramos, with us. Now that I know her origin story, I feel even more confident that she's qualified to treat Thea. So Emeline, why don't you come up? Is in the waiting bay in the emergency department. You can either on this screen here or this screen here, have a look at her record.
Okay, fantastic. That's a lot of data. I recognize that patient summary though, looks good.
So we have luckily, you yourself have saved a highly personalized ED chief complaint prompt, which we can run.
Okay,
Which
amazing.
will just give you a quick summary.
Couple of clicks. All right, so instead of that massive patient summary, I can see here that she's come in with exacerbation of asthma, and I can see that we've got some numbers there in red, which tells me that she's pretty unwell, so I think we should go and see her straight away.
That's great. So let's bring the patient up. I'll hand you this lovely microphone. And what I'll do is I'll bring up our real-time ambient stage. I'll just hit the record button as soon as that loads. Like a live demo. There we go. Okay.
Hello, Thea.
Hello, doctor.
I'm Dr. Emeline. I'm sorry to hear you're not feeling well. What I'll do is I'll do a quick history and an examination, and then we'll get you treated right away. Okay? Tell me when your asthma attack first started.
It started 2 days ago. At first, my inhaler helped, but now it's not enough.
Okay. Are you experiencing any fever or any coughing?
I haven't measured my temperature, but I am coughing a lot.
Right. And are you getting any chest pain?
Only when I cough.
Right, okay. So your record says that you take a singular and a salbutamol inhaler, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And are you still a smoker, Thea?
I am. I smoke a pack a day. I am trying to quit. I know it's not good for the asthma.
No, that's not good at all. No. Okay, so I've heard you also recently took a flight from Hanoi to Melbourne. Have you been getting any leg pains after the flight?
No, I haven't had any leg pains. It was a long flight, but I think it's when I got here. The humidity may have something to do with it.
Okay. I'm just going to have a quick listen to your chest, if that's okay. All right, just take a nice deep breath in for me. Now, I can hear some wheezing all over your chest, which is typical for an asthma attack. But I can also hear some decreased sounds down here on the lower left-hand side of your chest. So I think what we'll do is we'll go and order a chest x-ray just to check for infection. And we'll also do a couple of bloods. We'll do something called the basic metabolic panel and a full blood count. In the meantime, I'll get you started on some nebulizers. One is called Combivent, and the other one is called salbutamol. We'll do 2.5 milligrams, and we'll give you that every 20 minutes. And then I'll check up on you again in an hour, okay? Now, since you've been complaining of chest pain as well, I'll prescribe you some salbutamol, 600 milligrams, and we'll get the nurse to give that to you, okay? Do you have any questions for me?
No, doctor, I don't. Thank you.
Thanks, Thea. And stop smoking.
Okay. So let me just jump in for a moment and explain what you're seeing here. So you're seeing agentic AI combined with real-time audio and voice-to-text to really empower the EHR. So you can see that this right-hand side of the screen, we probably wouldn't show this to the end user. This is our agentic dashboard. And so you're seeing, I don't know if you were watching, but you saw the text stream on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, these agents were waking up and doing things. So you can see that they've identified the patient and the doctor. You can see there's a quality check agent, so every action the AI takes gets checked by a second agent. The context classifier is looking for clinical concepts in the text stream, and there's a line annotator that takes input from the context classifier and does these colored highlights in the text stream that's pulling out clinical concepts, and those can feed into the actions. And then down at the very bottom, actions extraction and actions review. So these are the actions that is pulled out from that conversation as a suggestion for the doctor. One agent is sorting out what the actions are. A second agent is then validating those and doing quality checks, and we can set thresholds and things like that so that you control the quality of the actions. And all of this happens in real time while they're talking. And I think that's important. You'll see in IntelliCare today and in most AI solutions, there's a little bit of a, you take the recording and you process it, and that's, 6 months ago, that was incredible and mind-blowing. Today, that's feeling like we'd like to get into real time. So this is basically agentic AI in action, fully embedded in the EHR. Now, having said that, we then thought, what if we could take this one step further? Is there anything we could do to make these agents seem more human in a way, more personalizable, and could we start thinking about decision support? So Dr. Ramos, this is quite a complex patient, and I understand she's not really getting any better. Do you think you could use some help?
I absolutely could.
Okay, well, I am going to introduce you to our AI agents. You can address them either on the screen, or we've got a copy of the screen down there. So the first one you'll meet is our medical expert. You can ask him what he does, but you can speak to him naturally, ask him. He's got full access to the record. He's also connected to the agents and the ability to take actions in the patient's record. So whenever you're ready, you can just start talking.
Right. My patient doesn't seem to be getting any better. So do you think you can help me out?
Let me check the patient's file to see what else is needed.
You're likely to need more than just salbutamol. Here are the ACEP asthma guidelines recommending magnesium sulfate and methylprednisolone. Do you approve?
Yes, I approve. That's a good idea.
On screen, you can see the new results that came a minute ago, showing pneumonia in the left lower lobe. Given these findings, along with fever and low blood pressure, sepsis is likely. IDSA guidelines recommend starting vancomycin and cefepime. Do you approve?
That's a good idea. Yes, I approve.
Lastly, I see there's a drug alert. Let me transfer you now to the pharmacy agent.
I noticed ibuprofen was ordered for her pain, but she has an allergy to it. I've recommended substituting it with paracetamol 500 milligrams instead. Do you approve?
Yes, that's a good catch. Yes, I approve.
All medication orders are complete. Do you need anything else?
Yes, we need to give her IV antibiotics, so we should get her admitted to the inpatient ward.
I see you'd like to admit her. Let me check availability and prepare the admission plan. I've arranged everything, booked a bed in general medicine, created the admission request, and prepared notifications for the ward. Do you confirm?
Yes, I confirm she's got a bed on the gen med ward.
Since you're admitting her, I'll create the documents you usually prefer for these cases. Please give me a moment. The documentation is ready. Would you like to sign the visit now?
Yes, that documentation looks good. I would like to sign the visit now. Thank you.
I've completed and signed off the visit documentation.
So let me just jump back in there. A couple of things to point out there. So you may have seen when the agents refer to things in the record or guidelines, there was a little sort of a card that showed up in the middle. So those cards are prompt-based visual components. So they're customizable either by a site or by a doctor. So it's a way of displaying information including references to external sources in a way that's highly customizable, highly personalizable. We believe a lot in the power of personalization, and that's one element that we're quite excited about. The avatars themselves can be a little bit creepy when you see them first. They move their mouths in funny ways, they wave their eyes, but you know, when we first started working with them, they were really profoundly strange. And I think for those of you who haven't interacted with them before, you probably would have had the same experience today. As you use them a little bit more, I think it's fair to say they grow on you a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
So look, the video avatar. Well, let's ask her what she thinks. Hey, we were just talking about human beings interacting with video avatars, and we find it a little bit strange at first. What do you think?
It's understandable that interacting with video avatars can feel unusual at first. Many people experience a sense of unfamiliarity or even discomfort when communicating with digital avatars instead of real humans. This response is quite normal. as humans are naturally attuned to face-to-face interactions with other people.
We can disconnect her now. The nice thing is you don't actually have to be polite and say thank you to these things. But you know, you can see you can have a real interaction with them. You can interrupt them. They're listening to you in real time. They've got full access to the record. So in reality, whether we do the video avatars or whether it's text-based or just audio or maybe the new glasses, maybe, you know, there'll be I don't know about Meta, but maybe there'll be a competitor to Meta who's trusted in healthcare that comes up with a different UI pattern. I think there's you know, it's clearly a direction we're going in where the UI pattern is going to be different and much more conversational, I think, and much smoother. The other point is around decision support. So we're obviously being extremely cautious about how we implement decision support, but you saw some AI-based decision support there. That's something that I'm hearing pretty much universally from all of our customers that there's an interest in. When we went live at EMC, you'll hear from Wilden later about EMC. As part of the training, we said no decision support. We've got the current IntelliCare doesn't do that for you, and yet something like 25% of the questions in our AI chat in the first week from their doctors were requests for decision support. So it's pretty clear evidence that it's something that's wanted, and it's not decision support in the terms of taking action. It's more like having a trusted colleague by your side. Would you consider this diagnosis, or based on this thing in the record that you may not have seen, I think you should think about that. Before we go, I've got one last avatar to show you. Now this one is our patient support avatar, and if I had to bet, I would say this is probably the one that we'll see live first. So we'll call our patient back up. So Thea, this is a patient support avatar. We'll set it not to speak in Bahasa Indonesia. So she has access to your medical record. She has access to your demographics. She has access to a set of information about the treatment you're having. You can just speak to her naturally and ask her anything you like. I'm sure you're a bit concerned being admitted to the hospital as a pack-a-day smoker.
Just a tad.
That's great. So go ahead and just speak to her naturally.
Vậy mình đang được điều trị bằng loại thuốc hết nào vậy?
Bạn hiện đang được điều trị bằng thuốc salbutamol dạng khí dung nebulizer mỗi 20 phút. Thuốc này
You're currently receiving salbutamol via a nebulizer every 20 minutes. This medicine helps to open up your airways, making it easier for you to breathe. If you'd like, I can explain more about how this treatment works or discuss the next steps in your care. Would you like more details?
Yes, could you tell me more about the side effects?
Salbutamol, the medicine you're receiving through the nebulizer, is generally safe but can have some side effects. Common ones include feeling shaky or having a fast heartbeat, mild headache, nervousness, or feeling jittery. These side effects often go away as your body adjusts. If you notice anything unusual, especially chest pain, severe dizziness, or if you feel much worse, let your care team know immediately. Would you like information on what happens next while you're waiting for admission?
No, that's fine, but could you translate that to Vietnamese for me?
Tất nhiên, đây là thông tin bằng tiếng Việt. Salbutamol, loại thuốc bạn đang dùng qua máy khí dung, thường khá an toàn, nhưng có thể gây ra một số tác dụng phụ như cảm giác run tay hoặc tim đập nhanh, đau đầu nhẹ, lo lắng hoặc buồn chồn.
So
I thought that's
a
enough.
couple of things to note there. Thank you, Thea. So the multilingual capabilities of these solutions are remarkable. The ability to speak to the patient in the language they prefer or the language their family speaks, the smooth switching back and forth. You speak to it in Vietnamese, it answers in Vietnamese. You change to English, it changes to English. That's pretty groundbreaking. You can imagine maybe in pediatrics, this could be an animated character. It wouldn't have to be fake human. It could be anything. I think there's some potential for this as sort of, triage and virtual health in remote areas. There's a lot that you can think about, a lot of value potentially in a solution like this if it's built in the correct way. So that was it. Just wanted to show you what the future. I don't think a lot of this is years away, by the way. What you saw today is a working prototype built on the foundation of IntelliCare. We're working very hard towards this. I wouldn't put dates on some of these capabilities yet. There's a variety of building blocks that will go into this. And if you want to talk during a break, I'm happy to go through those building blocks with you. We'll start to see the building blocks appear over the next sort of 12 to 18 months. So we're quite excited by the future here. Thank you very much.